Hey, 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 it's Peek over here in Singapore, and it is Wednesday night. I got a lot done today. Started off super early, like ridiculously early. And I'm not a morning person, people. So the plan was last night after the podcast was to transfer all of my files, all of my podcasts over to SoundCloud, and then transfer them over to YouTube. Well, guess what? My computer did not feel like cooperating, so I kind of had to can that whole damn idea. And then I figured, all right, well, what else can I do? Because the computer's not working, I can't really do my lectures either. And I figured, you know what? I better get to sleep because I got to get my ass up at 3:30 in the morning for class at 4. And I wasn't really excited about it, but it's free and it's new information, and why not, right? So anyway, fell asleep, woke up, took a little bit of work to get myself out of bed, but I did it. Got over here, and lo and behold, the computer did work for the webinar. I sat there and I listened for a little while, and then about halfway through I realized, you know what? This is not the course for me right now. And the funny thing is, the person in the course, Jennifer Kim, actually mentioned that, do one thing and focus on it and complete it and then move on to the next thing. And I realized, you know what? I have too many things on my plate for me to add another one right now. I'm just going to, can this right now, and then I'll go back into it another time. And yeah, maybe the opportunity won't be there at that time, but I do have enough information from this young lady that I could figure out which of her courses are available at that time, and then go from there. I have a couple of people that I know who have been through her courses and are doing extremely well, and yeah, like nothing better than a first-hand review of someone's work, right? So Kamisha's doing amazingly well, and eventually, yeah, I'll be at her level, but right now, this is not where my mind is at. So I hung up basically on the webinar, and I went back to sleep. Woke up like 6:45, and then started my whole regular routine. Got baby girl dressed, got her to school, like kind of ran to work and got there pretty early. I started an Access database. Now, I haven't played with Access, I don't know, in like 7-10 years, something like that. So it was like I had to teach myself all over again. I understood the basics of what a database should be and how it should work, and I understand the little parts of it, but I couldn't remember how to put them together so they work. So thank God for YouTube tutorials, and kind of basically built that from scratch today. It's not all the way done yet. I mean, obviously, if you know anything about Access, it's going to take a little bit, but I'm actually plugging in information to see if it works, just to test it a little bit, and so far so good. So I'm pleased with my work at the 9 to 5. Now, after that, I decided I needed to get some of my own work done because, I had to make up for lost time. Last night I should have completed all of my uploads to SoundCloud, and I wasn't able to. So today I did. Everything up until last night's podcast is up on SoundCloud. So if you're interested, please, please, please check it out. So from the beginning, from the inception until now, 141 episodes are on SoundCloud, and the website is soundcloud.com/ you guessed it, RASATH1, so you can find me on there. Please, by all means, leave me comments, leave me feedback, let me know what you think. If there's anything you want me to talk about, let me know. I'm all for it. Eventually, in order to reach more people, I will also transfer the same files over to YouTube, just so that they're there. A lot more people use YouTube than they do SoundCloud. So yeah, that's the next step, basically. From there, so yeah, I did complete the SoundCloud. I did have a little bit of a project to help my stepson with. Now, as you all know, he's at Hampton University. He's doing really well. I just, I get excited when he reaches out to ask for help. He doesn't always do it, but when he does, I do get excited. So he reached out for help again, and he was like, can you read over this paper that I have? And it was interesting because it's about something that I knew, and it gave me a chance to learn a little bit more about the same concept. It was about gentrification of neighborhoods and stuff. So I got to read over it and double check all of his work, and I feel pretty good about it. So we'll see how that goes, and I can scratch that off my list now too. So the next thing after this podcast is basically to start churning out YouTube and make sure that that's up to date as well. I want to talk to you about failure today. I'm not sure entirely where I heard it from. I kind of want to say it was from Jennifer Kem's webinar last night, and another part of it came from Gary Vee's airplane project. I don't know if you've heard of it, but you should check it out. Basically, he ran out of Wi-Fi on the plane and decided to record some stuff because inspiration kind of hit and he wanted to record it all. So the sound quality is a little rough. It's kind of like mine at the moment, but as always, gold, absolute gold. So between the two of them, I realized something, and it's something I've always believed, but the way they described it made a lot more sense. Now, failure, everyone's like, oh my God, fail, you shouldn't fail, you will die if you fail, all of that stuff, the freaking, the amount of pressure these Singaporean kids go through, man, as far as exams and school and everything. Like, failure is like one of those no words. But what y'all don't realize is it's the same as a science experiment. You try something. It doesn't work out. You don't get the result you wanted, so you adjust where you think something went wrong and you try again. That's all it is. That's all life is. It's like a series of experiments. And I've always believed that, which is why I'm not afraid of failing. I'm afraid of people not liking me. That's different. But I'm not afraid of failing. Because I know that, once I fail, I know exactly, I can look at it and decide what went wrong and then kind of adjust, course correct as I go along. It's the reason that I started off with, the website and the podcast and everything. It's the reason that when people say, hey, I have this opportunity, I'm like, yes. Before you even finish the sentence, yes, I will jump in. I will help out. Because I know that it's an opportunity for me to try. Because without that opportunity, I don't know if I would venture out on my own. It might take a little bit longer. I probably would, but it would take a little bit longer. Failure, and I think it was Jennifer Kim, the more I think about it, I think it was Jennifer Kim. She was talking about the idea of data collection, basically. You should think of your life as many points of data collection, and you adjust your personality as you grow from experiences. If you've been through trauma, you adjust your personality to avoid being put in those same situations again. If you find something, I guess it's kind of like comedians, okay? They get up on stage and they want to tell jokes or whatever, and not everyone is going to laugh, but they know that when someone laughs, that particular joke works. They know that if they're put in different kinds of situations and they have to kind of adjust for the different demographics of the audience, and if they can still make them laugh, they continue going. Like, it's all basically hit or miss. I mean, you don't know what's going to make people laugh, and you do, mostly because of past experiences. You kind of build on that every time. I'm sure Kevin Hart didn't just get up on a stage, decide he was funny, and then go from there. He probably went through a lot of people who booed him off stage, a lot of people that criticized him, a lot of people that gave him grief, but he's figured out along the way that it's easier to make fun of his own life and then include everybody around rather than start picking, on things that are odd in the audience. Like, I mean, people go through that. It's like a learning curve, right? Another instance, all right, from my own life. I know that if you follow me on my personal page, you've seen me post pictures of baby girl's hair. Now, I am not a pro. I am not black. I did not grow up in that lifestyle. I did not grow up in that culture. I don't know nothing about hair. I had to teach myself. So obviously, I found somebody that knew what she was doing. I watched. I found somebody on YouTube that knew what she was doing, and I listened. I learned. And little by little, because I had baby girl, I experimented. It started off with little, doo-doo puffs is what they call them. I guess little balls of hair everywhere because you've tied it up. Once you learn how to section hair, it's not so bad. The next thing you need to learn how to do is to wash and then condition hair, and what kinds of shampoos to use and what not to use and how to, all these things. With baby girl's hair, it's very different from everyone else's hair. Now, I don't know if I could do any other black person's hair. I could do mine. My little girl, I could do hers all day long because I've practiced on that. I'm not a pro by any means, but it does look kind of nice. It does look kind of tight, you know. I learned a lot about the lock method, about the CG method, about trimming hair, about how to brush her hair so she doesn't scream at me. And that was all trial and error. And even to this day, like at least once while I'm doing her hair, she would scream at me. And she would yank her hair out of my hands because it hurts, which will make it hurt more, which I don't know. Anyway, she hasn't figured that part out yet. But it's trial and error. It's a lot of trial and error. I know right now, because of lots of experience, that I cannot brush her hair when it's dry. It has to be wet. I have a spray bottle with me. So as the top of her hair dries up, because I start from the bottom up, right? As the top of her hair dries up, I have to spray it and brush it through again. As I get her out of the shower, I have to pineapple and like keep a towel around the base of the nape of her neck, basically, so it doesn't start dripping all the way down her back. As soon as I sit down, I need to put a leave-in conditioner or a deep conditioner in, and I'll leave it for a second, and then I'll section off all the hair and then start working at the bottom. Because if I don't section off the hair, and if I don't twist those sections after I've brushed it, it's going to be a nightmare by the time I get up to it. Even if I do wet it, because the way her hair dries up, it just dries up in a big knot. All of that is trial and error. I did not fail. I learned another way not to do her hair. I learned another way that causes her to scream. You know, like it's all of those things. Failure is not a bad thing. You should be more afraid not to try. You should be more afraid to quit. So many people quit just before they make it. They put in effort, and their patience wearing thin all the way. And then finally they quit, only to realize that if they had just stuck it out a little bit longer, they'd have made it. I don't quit. I'm kind of stubborn. I'm kind of a pain in the ass that way. If I am interested in you, I will pursue you until I have what I want, or decide you've proven to me that you're not what I want. Cooking is the same way. I see cooking as an experiment. Seriously, you kind of have your recipe of all the things you need to put in together, and the order in which they need to be put together, and the way they need to be put together, the temperature, the measurement, like all of that. That's a freaking experiment. I don't see why anyone can't cook. Why not? You have the damn recipe. It is an experiment. Go, enjoy, try. You know how many times I've burned food? Man, I remember, I will never forget this one Thanksgiving, right? And I was trying to impress my husband at the time. And I was like, yeah, let me do a turkey. Let me do the whole turkey. I don't feel like, gutting a turkey and stuffing it by any means. But I thought, why don't I want to do a turkey? Oh, my lands. When I took it out of the oven, because it smelled like it was burning, it was burnt on the outside. But it was also frozen on the inside. Now, yes, I threw that damn butterball away because I wasn't about to have everyone sick in the house. But I definitely learned that, roasting whole turkey was not in the cards for me. So I tried a little bit smaller. I did turkey legs instead, which means everyone gets a leg. They don't have to fight about who gets the leg. And there's still food left over after everyone's had a leg. It's all about trying. Just try. You never know. Yeah, you're probably going to fail. But what's the worst that could happen? You're not going to die. You throw out some food. You learn another way not to, do hair. You figure out how not to make clothes. You figure out the best way to clean, or the order in which you need to do things so that, it's the most efficient possible for you. You learn what you need to do in order to get up at a certain time every day. Now, granted, it won't always work out that easy. It might not be one try and then you got it. It may be several tries. You may have to go through like a bunch of no's to get a yes. But don't stop. Don't give up. What's the worst that could happen? Let me put it to you this way. If I didn't learn to do hair, I spent all of Aaliyah's childhood taking her to the hair shop once every 2 weeks. $50 once every 2 weeks to get her hair done. I'm not complaining. It was somebody who was doing a service to me, but $50 is a lot of money when you don't have any. And I know what it's like to not have any. And lucky for me, my husband paid, but even then, that's a lot of money. $100, I could do all kinds of other stuff with it. And you know what? You know what I'm really grateful for right now? Besides the fact that I can do hair, you know how much time we spend together? When I do her hair, we go through at least 2 movies. And she gets to pick one and I get to pick one. That's the deal. And it can be a cartoon or a regular movie, but she gets to pick one and then I get to pick one. Sometimes if we're feeling, super loving towards another, we may actually agree on a Tamil movie, which is about 3 hours anyway, which is perfect. Yeah, in between we get up and stretch. We have snacks. I mean, when I have a hair appointment going on with her, it's what I want her memories of her childhood to be. When she thinks back and says, you know what, I remember when, I want her to be able to say what it felt like to sit, when we get out the shower, the first thing she has to do is set up her seat. Now she sits on the floor, but she pulls off one of the cushions from the couch and puts it on the floor, and then she has a backrest that my mom has. She pulls it off my mom's bed and puts it on the floor between the couch and the pillow, and she leans back and she gets ready to get her hair done. I want her to remember that stuff. I want it to be one of her favorite memories. Do you remember when you used to do my hair? That's what I want. I want her to be able to think back and be like, do you remember when we used to cook together? Do you remember when we did that together? Do you remember when we did this together? And all of it's going to be, an experiment. There's going to be some hit and miss, a lot. She's about to go to school next year. Wait till we figure out how to do her damn, her schedule. What time she need to go to bed by? What time she need to wake up by? How are we going to get to school on time? We're not on time people. So don't give up. Realize that failure is not really the end of everything. You fail, but you keep going. You pick up every chance you get, and you keep going. You adjust along the way. Just collect all that data and figure out how you're going to make it better. All right? Well, I better go. I'll catch you tomorrow. Y'all take care. Bye.